I spent the 3 most difficult years with my boyfriend. The day I found out I was unexpectedly pregnant, I overheard his twin brother say, "Robert, I've been pretending to be you. Messing around with your girlfriend for so long. She won't get mad and run off when she finds out, will she?" Robert said indifferently, "What are you afraid of? She won't leave. Besides, it's not the first time we've switched places. But don't get her pregnant. I find that dirty." Bullet comments appeared before my eyes. Lol. The female antagonist is pregnant and still happy, unaware that Robert never touched her. And it was his twin brother who got her pregnant. Robert only cares about the strong female lead, even if the female antagonist is carrying his child. She and the child have to disappear. I didn't cry or make a scene. I continued to be a mistress to the fake Robert. Secretly, I scheduled an abortion and booked a plane ticket to go overseas. The day he caught me getting an abortion, he went crazy, grabbing his brother's neck. "Who gave you permission to touch her?" The day I found out about the unexpected pregnancy, I went to the exclusive private club Robert frequented, braving a heavy rain. By the time I got to the exclusive private club, my hair was slightly damp. Just as I was about to push open the door to the exclusive private club, I heard Robert's cold voice from inside. "Had enough fun? When are you switching back?" His twin brother, David, said, "No, not yet." Robert frowned. "You didn't touch her, did you? You know our rule." David froze imperceptibly for a second, then slowly curled his lips into a smile. "What's there to be afraid of?" "No, I didn't." He picked up a wine glass. "But even if I did, you wouldn't mind, right?" Robert paused, looking a bit unnatural. "Of course not. I just find it dirty." Laughter and catcalls erupted from the private room. "David, you're even playing with the women your brothers used?" "No kidding, why wouldn't David? With a face like Sarah's, who wouldn't want to play around with her? She's got curves in all the right places. Her butt is like a ripe peach. Almost ready." It's only Robert, the heir to Huo Group fortune, who's not interested in women and won't touch her. The woman sitting next to Robert chuckled. "Why does it feel like Sarah is like a restroom? Anyone can use her." A wave of laughter immediately swept through the room. I knew that woman, Ashley, the East Coast elite circle princess. Robert's childhood sweetheart, who H-dotted on since they were kids. A few people asked, "Who came up with this idea? Playing such a big game?" Ashley raised an eyebrow. "They're so dumb." "Of course it was me. Sarah would never dream that Robert has a twin brother, right? You guys should thank me. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be having this much fun." Robert smiled indulgently. Yes, you're the smartest." Someone asked, "I heard Robert is marrying Sarah in 7 days. Is that true?" Robert chuckled. "Of course it's fake. The girl wants a title. Just playing with her." Ashley suddenly sat up straight, a mischievous glint in her eyes. "In 7 days, when you get married, you tell her that you've been switching places and messing with her for this entire year. I want to see her reaction live. Isn't it more fun to push her into the abyss when she's closest to happiness?" Robert smiled helplessly. "You're still so childish at your age," Ashley pouted. "Childish or not, you've always given me whatever I wanted since we were kids, haven't you? But you guys need to be careful not to accidentally get her pregnant. Women from that kind of poor background are really difficult to deal with if they get pregnant." Robert frowned slightly. "Don't joke like that. We've never touched her." Ashley tilted her head and pressed on. "What if she does accidentally get pregnant?" Robert smiled carelessly. "Then just make her leave, right, David?" David was lost in thought. Hearing Robert call him, he belatedly said, Bullet comments. Lol. David said he didn't touch her, but he secretly slept with her countless times behind his brother's back. The female antagonist is pregnant and still happy, unaware that Robert never touched her. And it was his twin brother who got her pregnant. Robert only cares about the strong female lead. Even if the female antagonist is carrying his child, she and the child have to disappear. OMG, it's so good. Robert stayed pure for the strong female lead and David just used the female antagonist for practice. This is the rom-com wish fulfillment story I should be reading. I looked at the pregnancy test in my hand. 2 lines showed up. When I ran here through the rain, I originally wanted to tell Robert the news right away. I'm really pregnant. Now it seems there's no need. That same afternoon, I booked the abortion and bought a plane ticket for 7 days later. It was the same day as the wedding. I could still get the allowance from my sugar daddy these few days and pocket a bit more, since they wanted to reveal the truth at the wedding and make a fool of me. Why shouldn't I escape first and turn their script into a complete joke? Anyway, I'd saved a lot of money working as a full-time mistress these years. especially lately. The savings rate had doubled. I wondered why Robert kept forgetting H paid me and sent money over and over. Now it made sense. Robert transferred money to my card once, and his brother David transferred it again. I gently stroked my little stash of cash. I got involved with Robert when I was in college. Ashley was my college roommate. She loved playing pranks that ruined people's futures. In high school, she had her rich friend pursue an ordinary girl. Every day, H shower her with roses, luxury goods, and bags like crazy. The girl had never seen anything like it and fell for him in just a few days. Just before the college entrance exam, Ashley had her friend break up with the girl, devastated by the breakup. The girl, who had good grades, underperformed on the exam. As soon as the exam was over, she jumped from a building and became a vegetable. Ashley, meanwhile, went happily to college and became my roommate. She set her sights on me, working 3 jobs. The reason I worked 3 jobs a day was that I was a broken campus beauty with a gambling father, a mother who died early, and a sick grandmother. This time, I became her new game. Robert was the male lead she carefully selected for me, a top student in Hadley University's math department, a campus heartthrob whose casual photo posted online by a passerby could get over 100 million views. He was also the heir to the Huo Group fortune. With limitless prospects, she had Robert pursue me and make me his girlfriend. According to Ashley's script, Robert would use money to spoil me rotten. Once I got used to it all, H dumped me, making me collapse completely from the huge disparity. Robert was indeed very good to me. He constantly gave me gifts, sympathized with my background, forbade me from working, and surprised me in different ways every day. But I was a savvy saver. However much money Robert gave me, I hoarded it all. I didn't wear the jewelry he gave me. I sold it online for a high price. I was terrified of being poor and had low self-worth. The more money I hoarded, the more secure I felt. Besides, I wasn't stupid. I could feel like Robert was acting with me. Every time he held my hand, I didn't miss the flicker of mockery in his eyes. Though I didn't know why he didn't like me but proposed to me. He was definitely a rich fool. I had to hoard more. Opportunities like this wouldn't come again. We dated like a normal couple, hugging and kissing. In winter, I even knitted him a navy blue scarf by hand as a gift. The day my grandmother got seriously ill, I first asked Robert for an expensive birthday gift. I remember Robert was startled for a moment, then he smiled. I didn't forget the wild joy and playful glint that exploded in his pupils, like a venomous snake finally flicking its tongue. They thought I must have been spoiled and corrupted by now. Everything was according to plan. Robert initiated the breakup the next day. Ashley waited to see me unable to bear the poverty after the breakup, crying, causing scenes, clinging to Robert, and making a fool of myself. But she found I was the same as before, working and studying as usual, returning to my plain daily life. I just slightly eased up, reducing my 3 jobs a day to 2. Sometimes I'd eat a corn dog and an egg when eating instant noodles, and a sweet drink after the meal. I even gained 3 pounds. I didn't spend every day begging him to get back together or acting like I was dying for Robert. I even deleted Robert's contact information completely after we broke up. Nothing met her expectations, and she threw a huge tantrum, finding the game utterly boring. From then on, she constantly targeted me in the dorm room, either putting nails in my shoes or pouring cold water on my quilt in winter. Later, my dad gambled and owed a lot of debt to the Huo family. To pay off the debt, he used me as collateral. That's how I accidentally became Robert's mistress, actually. Recently, I had planned to settle down and have a good life with him. Robert had always been aloof and never touched me. But starting from the beginning of the year, he suddenly became willing to kiss me. That night, he came back drunk. I helped him to the sofa and made him sobering tea. He suddenly wrapped his arms around my waist, pulled me into his embrace, and gently kissed my lips. I rarely kissed and almost suffocated. He smiled softly. So this is what it tastes like, sweet. Remember to breathe next time we kiss. That night, he took me to taste the forbidden fruit for the first time. Later, he liked trying various exciting games with me. He didn't like using condoms. He liked to mess with me while the butler and maids were present. I could only bite my lip and try my best to endure. The more I did that, the more interesting it seemed. He had a strange. At night, when doing it, he liked me to call his name over and over. What's my name? Robert. You are Robert. Wrong. Say it again. What's wrong, Robert? NGH. He suppressed the darkness in his eyes. The more I called his name, the rougher he became, though he was a bit strange when doing it. like a mad dog that needed to be petted into submission. He liked to act sweet or clingy and kiss me. He knew I had a bad stomach and made me warm porridge comforting soup. He would set off fireworks all night in Riverwood on my birthday. As the grand fireworks bloomed in the sky, he stroked my head and said, "Baby, let's have a good life together." When I had nightmares, he would wake me up, gently hold me in his arms, and say, "Good girl, don't be scared." I slowly began to feel like I might like him a little, a few months ago. Another time he pinned me down on the bed and didn't want to use condoms. I asked, "What if I get pregnant?" He kissed me, "Then have it. I'll raise it." Marriage was his idea. That night, after everything was over, he leaned over me and said, "Baby, don't be my lover anymore. Be my wife." Thinking back now, from the first time we ended up in bed together, that person wasn't Robert, but David, right? And the proposal was just a new prank. I genuinely considered having this child. Now it seems there's no need. With 5 days left until I left overseas, I could already skillfully distinguish between the Hugh brothers. Robert was aloof, gloomy, rarely smiled, and a workaholic. David liked to act sweet or clingy and had a mole on his V-line that I could see every time he took off his clothes to do business. I didn't know if Robert had that mole below. He had never touched me. Coming downstairs in the morning, Robert was sitting downstairs wearing gold-rimmed glasses, reading a newspaper. "Sarah, dress up nicely today. We have guests coming." Someone who reads the newspaper early in the morning, wears gold-rimmed glasses, and has a cold tone, that's the real Robert. Bullet comments were incredibly excited. Hehe. Today we finally get to officially meet David. The female antagonist has been messed with so much by David. He knows all her sensitive spots inside and out, and she still has to pretend not to know him. She must be so suffocated. Poor people are all like this, enduring anything for money. Our darling main character is so much better, a strong female lead who never depends on anyone else. This meeting is just setting the stage for publicly humiliating the female antagonist on her birthday. I can't wait. The strong female lead is such a manipulative little drama queen. I love it. I went upstairs and changed my clothes. At noon, David came with Ashley. Seeing David, who looked exactly like Robert, I pretended to be surprised, showing just the right amount of astonishment. Robert introduced me. "This is my twin brother. He just got back from overseas." David extended his hand to me. "Hello." I shook his hand. "Hello." I smiled. "I didn't realize you to really look exactly alike." David's expression didn't change at all, his smile gentle and harmless. "There's a lot more you don't know. Sometimes I really admire David. Even though H slept with me countless times, he could really pretend not to know me." Ashley laughed. "No need to introduce me. Sarah and I were college roommates." She took my hand. "I heard you're getting married soon. Robert and I have already discussed it. I'll be your bridesmaid." Before she finished, the chef came to inform us that the dishes were ready at the dining table. Ashley sat between Robert and David. She rested her chin on her hand and asked me with a smile, "Sarah, have you noticed any changes in Robert lately?" I knew why she was asking that deliberately. It was nothing more than wanting to see me made a fool of, so I decided to give her what she wanted. I put down my chopsticks and nodded. "Yes, he's certainly changed a lot this year." At that moment, the world seemed to pause. They were all stunned for a moment, especially the Hugh brothers. Their expressions were extremely stiff. I suddenly laughed, my cheeks slightly flushed. "He's become even better to me. I realize I like him more and more." Robert looked at David, his face looking bad. During dinner, David naturally put a peeled shrimp into my bowl and said affectionately, "Baby, you like the garlic shrimp without the shell." The next second, we all froze. He suddenly realized something too, but his expression remained composed. "My brother likes to call you that." It just slipped out. I nodded. "You're surprisingly nice." Robert gave David a warning look. I ignored them and popped the peeled shrimp into my mouth, chewing, chewing, chewing. I frowned. Not good. It tasted fishy. I wanted to throw up. I covered my mouth and went to the restroom. After throwing up, Ashley looked at me meaningfully and said, "Could it be morning sickness?" Robert and David's gazes simultaneously fell on me. I said, "No, I've had an upset stomach lately." "What's wrong with throwing up?" "It's good. Throwing up helps you lose weight." Robert put down his chopsticks and said with a fake smile, "If you get any thinner, you'll be all bones." After dinner that day, Robert and David took Ashley home together. They came back very late. When they got home, he went straight to shower. I wasn't sure if the one showering was Robert or David. I saw his phone on the nightstand. I casually picked it up. Bullet comments were cursing me. What does the female antagonist think she's doing? She dares to check her sugar daddy's phone. Does she want to die? Does she deserve to? What's there to be afraid of? It's password protected. The password is Ashley's birthday. That idiot will be trying till the year of the monkey. Oh, thanks. Since she was my roommate, Ashley's birthdays were always very public. It was hard not to know. I quickly typed in Ashley's birthday. The phone opened. I opened text messages and found Robert and David's chat log. Robert. Switch back in a couple of days, David. No, not done playing. Robert. She said you've been very good to her this past year. You haven't developed feelings for her, have you? David took a long time to reply. No, how could I? Didn't you say the better you treat her, the harder she falls when her dream is shattered? I was with her most of this year. These last few days, I was afraid she'd get suspicious, Robert. Got it. You really didn't touch her? David. No, why? Do you care? Robert. No, I just don't want my toy to get dirty. I'm warning you. Playing is fine, but don't cross the line. That's the rule. It seemed the one who came home today was David. 10 minutes later, David finished showering and came in. I was playing Candy Crush on my phone, pretending not to see him. David gently picked up my wrist, implying something. Why do you have such long acrylic nails again? My back is full of your scratches, I said. Then call the cops. David froze for a moment, then suddenly laughed softly. Baby, why are you so cute? He gently cupped my face and leaned down to kiss my lips. His hand wasn't idle either, quietly sliding into my clothes. I quickly pushed him away. My stomach hurts today. Hearing this, David frowned. Your stomach hurts. Is your stomach bothering you again? I shook my head. No. His hand reached for my stomach. Let me rub it for you. I pushed his hand away. No need. David's hand froze there. After a long time, he snorted coldly. Fine. Suffer then. I won't bother with you. We didn't talk for a long time. At night, my lower abdomen kept hurting. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, curling myself into a ball. After some time, David sighed softly. He pulled me into his arms and gently patted my back, his voice husky with sleep. Good girl. It doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't hurt. When I was very young, my mom used to pat my back like that too. That memory felt as distant as a dream. But with David doing these things to me, I felt incredibly ironic. When I woke up groggily in the morning, David was already awake. He was standing by the bed, looking through my phone, his expression not good. Seeing I was awake, he looked at me with a fake smile, like a sinister ghost. Baby, be honest with me. Are you hiding something? I yawned softly. What could I hide from you? His face darkened, and he pulled up the corner of his lips. You won't tell me? Fine, then tell me. He held my phone up to my face, almost touching my nose. Why is the abortion clinic sending you pre-procedure instructions? His voice grew colder. Baby, how come I didn't know you were pregnant? At that moment, my whole body froze, my temples throbbed. But I quickly regained my composure. Oh, big deal. Maybe I clicked on some ad while browsing sketchy websites before. If I were really pregnant, it'd definitely tell you and have you wrapped around my finger. David raised an eyebrow. You browse sketchy websites? I nodded. It's always good to learn more. He lifted my chin. Aren't the positions I teach you every day enough? You're still learning? Aren't you afraid I'll go crazy? He pulled me into his arms and asked, tell me all about what you've learned. I replied, I don't know. I didn't remember any of it. He suddenly laughed. So stupid. Looks like I'll have to teach you myself. He looked at me. Sarah, we're getting married in 4 days. On our wedding day, I'll make you the happiest bride in the world, okay? I didn't answer because we wouldn't get married, and we wouldn't have a future. Robert and David were busy preparing for the wedding. Meanwhile, I was busy packing for overseas and transferring all the assets I'd gotten from the Huo family. I had a good friend overseas named Emily. She had already booked me a bed at a hospital overseas for the abortion. She also found me a place to stay overseas with the floor-to-ceiling windows and large balcony I liked. My living expenses also arrived, still split into 2 payments, each of them sending one. That afternoon, David took me to try on the wedding dress. He poked my stomach. Your lower belly is a little round. Have you been eating something good lately? I covered my stomach and said, mind your own business. He laughed. Getting married to me soon, and your temper's getting bigger. He lifted my hand and put a diamond ring on my ring finger. The diamond was as big as a pigeon's egg. He hugged me. This is great. You'll be mine soon. I just softly hummed in response while he held me. Bullet comments were unhappy. I'm so over this Bichichi. Does she really think he's going to marry her? Where does she get off? If she had any dignity or character, she'd have run off when she overheard that stuff. She's definitely a gold digger. The person above is right. In the novel, the female antagonist is a gold digger. Both of them are rich and handsome. Of course she won't leave. If she's smart, she'll take the money and run. Otherwise, our darling main character will ruin her at the wedding. I wasn't in the mood to argue with those bullet comments. I just silently calculated how much this diamond ring could sell for. With 2 days left before I left overseas, I went to a bar for the first time and splurged, ordering a few male escorts to dance for me. I wanted to taste what it was like to casually pick men to play with. I coughed and choked on a sip of wine. Just then, we suddenly heard a discordant sound. Ashley was sitting at the bar not far away. She was drunk and slurring. After you're done with her at the wedding, just get rid of her quickly. It's annoying seeing her squeeze between you guys all the time. For the first time, Robert didn't immediately satisfy her request. He was silent for a moment, then slowly said, "We'll talk about this later." Ashley was startled for a moment and looked at David. "David, what do you think?" David also looked away. "She's so clingy to me." "No, not to me, to my brother. If we just kick her out, I'm afraid she won't be able to handle it." Ashley looked displeased. "You guys aren't going soft, are you? You guys agreed to the plan to prank Sarah in college. When the prank didn't fully work back then, and Sarah wasn't devastated by the breakup, weren't you guys unhappy and wanted to find another chance to mess with her? This time, there's a rare opportunity. Of course we have to trample her into the mud." The friends drinking with them also tried to smooth things over. "Ashley cares about you guys so much. Who is Sarah anyway? Just use her up and throw her away. Can you really bear to upset Ashley? Don't forget, when we were kids playing dress up, you were fighting to play Ashley's husband. You guys watched Ashley grow up. Even if she asked for the stars, you'd give them to her. This small matter isn't worth refusing, is it? If she's really difficult, Robert, why don't you just give her a breakup sex as a reward? You haven't touched her for so many years anyway. Just give her this one time." Bullet comments started arguing. What's wrong with the Hugh brothers? Weren't they always compliant with darling main character before? Are you saying they might have developed feelings for the female antagonist? David was doing it with the female antagonist so many times. Could familiarity bred fondness have set in? You're thinking too much. In the novel, when they found out the female antagonist was pregnant, they locked her in the basement and tortured her to death. I didn't look at the bullet comments. I held my breath, waiting for their answer. After a long wait, I heard Robert say softly, "Okay, I understand." At that moment, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. Okay, as expected. On the wedding day, Robert wore a well-cut black suit, looking exceptionally handsome. David wore a white suit as the best man, surrounded by people. Ashley wore her custom-made bridesmaid dress, which looked like an evening gown and was even more luxurious than my private custom wedding dress. Like a little princess, she held a video camera, ready to film my in despair and make it her trophy. All victims of her pranks would be filmed as souvenirs. She probably wanted everyone to see me finding out that I had been tricked by the men for an entire year, messed with by them, taking turns, a complete farce. Ashley even hired someone to livestream it. The people in the livestream didn't know what was going on, but seeing it was a wedding, they came to offer congratulations. She smiled sweetly at the camera. No, I'm not the bride. I'm just the groom and best man's little childhood sweetheart. They've doted on me since I was little, so of course I had to be the bridesmaid at his wedding. Really? I'm not as beautiful as you say. If you keep complimenting me like this, the bride will get upset. Her heart is actually quite small, but I'll be giving the bride a big gift today, so please look forward to it. People in the live stream heard this and started discussing today's bride, but by noon, the guests had gradually arrived, but the bride was still nowhere to be seen. Robert's expression changed. He slowly began to realize something was wrong. He called me, but his number showed it had been blocked. He sent me text messages. "Sarah, it's our wedding today. Don't make a scene with me today." Just then, the guests who were eating let out gasps of surprise. On the large screen at the wedding, the full recording from the exclusive private club that day appeared. David's voice was the first to be heard. "Robert, I've been pretending to be you. Messing around with your mistress for so long. She won't get mad and run off when she finds out, will she? What are you afraid of? She won't leave. Besides, it's not the first time we've switched places. But don't get her pregnant. I find that dirty. I heard Robert is marrying Sarah in 7 days. Is that true? Of course it's fake. The girl wants a title. Just playing with her. Pfft. Why does it feel like Sarah is like a restroom? Anyone can use her. In 7 days, when you get married, you tell her that you've been switching places and messing with her for this entire year. I want to see her reaction live. Isn't it more fun to push her into the abyss when she's closest to happiness? The wedding immediately descended into chaos. At the end of the video, a mocking yellow face emoji with squinting eyes filled the screen, along with a few lines of text. Game over, satisfied? Oh, right. David was too embarrassed to say it, but you were lousy in bed. I wasn't satisfied at all this past year, not even as good as the 8 male escorts I ordered. Goodbye forever. I really don't have time to play games with you anymore. The chaos caused the number of viewers in the live stream to skyrocket. It became a noisy mess. Lol. These little clique jerks wanted to prank someone else but ended up pranking themselves. This kind of thing is disgusting. What the woman did was bad, but the men were 1,000 times worse. If the men didn't agree to do this shit, it wouldn't have happened. So where's the bride's sister? Did she run away from the wedding? Isn't it obvious? The wedding's been going on for half the day and the bride hasn't shown up. Lol. These bastards planned to humiliate the bride's sister on her wedding day, and now they get to taste what it's like to be embarrassed in public. How does it feel? Ashley's face turned pale. She covered her face and shrieked, "Turn it off. Turn off the live stream." Meanwhile, I had already gotten off the plane. I spread my arms to my friend waiting for me at the airport and shouted happily, "Emily, I'm free." After arriving in France, I lived with Emily. Emily watched the live stream of Ashley's wedding and laughed so hard she was slapping her thighs. They acted to deceive you. Who would be thought you were acting the whole time too? When did your little brain get so clever? Have you heard? The Huo family is in chaos. They say both brothers are going crazy looking for you after you left. I wasn't surprised, after all. I had severely humiliated them before I left. Especially David. I specifically emphasize how lousy he was in bed. Honestly, objectively speaking, he was quite good in that regard. He made me climax every time. But since I was going to leave without a trace, wasn't this the way to be ruthless? I took a bite of an apple. Oh, right, Emily, how are my abortion arrangements coming along? Emily said, "Don't worry. You just need to do some checks. Okay. Let's do it as soon as possible." Got it. Emily went with me to the hospital for the various checks. I was having a painless abortion. A week before the procedure, Emily bought me a big bag of snacks to comfort me and tell me not to be nervous. I hugged the snack bag and teared up. How could life possibly be the same no matter who you're with? On the day of the surgery, I lay on the hospital bed, given anesthesia, gradually losing control of my body, my consciousness becoming hazy. Just then, someone approached me. Was it the doctor? The footsteps got closer and closer. I struggled to open my eyes. I couldn't quite make out what I saw. But a chill ran down my spine, followed by a sense of dread. The people who came in weren't doctors. It was Robert and David, along with a group of Huo family bodyguards in black suits. The last voice in my head told me I was finished. I wanted to move, to escape, but the full anesthesia had rendered me unable to move. I was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. In the last moment of conscious thought, Robert gently leaned down and carried me out. David stood behind him, clenching his fists. I woke up in a villa I had never seen before. Robert sat quietly by my bed. Around his neck was the navy blue scarf I had knitted for him years ago. Looking out of place with his high-end custom suit. Seeing I was awake, he looked at me, his voice a little hoarse. "You're awake? Are you hungry?" I looked at him. "Why are you here?" He sighed softly and gently stroked my head. "There's always a way to find you if I want to." I nervously shrank back. "Why did you find me? To torment me?" Seeing me retreat, he paused, frowning. "Why would you think that? Have I ever done anything rough to you? If that's the case, then let me go. Don't even think about it." He held me. "From now on, I won't let you go anywhere." From that day on, Robert kept me imprisoned in this villa. I started a hunger strike, not eating or drinking every day. When he heard about it, he sat in front of me with a bowl. "I know I've wronged you, but you can't hurt yourself." I only said one thing the whole time. "I want to leave." "Leave and go where?" "Somewhere without you." "Why?" he asked. "I can give you everything you want. I can pamper you and let you live a life of luxury forever. Or is it that you fell in love with David?" I looked at him coldly. Is there a difference? Both of you are scum. Don't make me choose between chocolate-flavored tea and tea-flavored chocolate, okay? He looked hurt by my words. He was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was a little hoarse. Sarah, I actually wanted to marry you properly. That day, I had already warned David not to listen to Ashley, not to tell you anything, so you could get married peacefully. And I wouldn't let him get near you again after that. I sneered. You were quite generous when you sent me to your brother's bed. His face turned pale. I never thought that way. I never let him touch you. That's our rule. I didn't know he would do that. I know you're hurting and feeling wronged right now. Don't worry. I'll immediately arrange more authoritative doctors and nurses for you. I won't let you suffer at all while having this child removed. I won't let Ashley bully you again. I've already made her family go bankrupt. I will compensate you with everything I have. From now on, let's pretend nothing happened. I'll give you whatever you want. I suddenly raised my hand and slapped him hard. Dream on. You want me to forget just like that? Nothing's that easy. Robert turned his face slightly after I slapped him. He wiped the blood from the corner of his lips. Did that relieve your anger? If not, keep going, I said coldly. Get out. He was silent for a long time, then slowly stood up. I'll come back tomorrow. That night, I curled up in bed and dreamt I was lying in my dorm room bed, crying. I hadn't told anyone actually. The day I broke up with Robert in college, I had cried quietly, but I had gotten used to not showing my scars, used to silent tears. Did I ever like Robert? I must have otherwise. Why did my heart ache so much the night we broke up? Why was I so miserable? Why did I spend the whole night reflecting on how I shouldn't have asked Robert for a gift? Even though I knew he didn't like me at all, in my dream, I felt someone gently cover my eyes. He said, "Good girl, don't cry anymore, don't cry." The next day, I opened my eyes. The person standing before me was David. David had stolen me away. He had injuries, a patch of bruises on his neck. His eyes were bloodshot. He looked like he hadn't slept well in a long time. He said to me, "I'm sorry, I felt a bit numb. I had heard too many apologies these past few days." He looked at me with heartache. "He didn't do anything to you, did he?" I said, "Doesn't it feel ironic for you to ask me that? Between the two of you, competing to hurt me, who is any better than the other?" He pursed his lips. He wanted to ask why I didn't tell him I was pregnant, but the words wouldn't come out. Yeah, they had said it themselves. If I got pregnant, they'd make me leave. He knew he had no face to ask. He clenched his fist. "Sarah, you knew it was a game all along. So, every kiss, hug, and entanglement we had this year, every time you said you liked me, was it all fake?" I wanted to tell him, yes, tell him, "You're right. It was all fake." But in the end, I let out a long sigh. "David, I'm not a professional actor. You can't fake liking someone. The day you first kissed me, I was so happy I didn't sleep all night. I thought you finally cared about me. I told myself I had to be doubly good to you too. I genuinely thought about having your child and settling down to live a good life with you. I also started loving flipping through the baby name book, secretly thinking about what to name our child. That day, I went to find you desperately, braving the heavy rain, just to tell you the news about being pregnant. But I'm not desperate or without self-respect. No one could hear they were being passed around and played with by the person they liked and still put up with it. I can tell you clearly now, I hate you both." His eyes were moist. He raised his hand to touch me but quickly pulled it back. His lips were bitten until they bled. "Please, don't sentence me like this. At least tell me how I can make it even slightly less hateful for you." The wind outside the window swirled dead leaves against the glass. I looked at the broken light in his eyes and said softly, "Let me go." He clenched his hand, trembling as he inhaled sharply. After a long while, he squeezed out broken syllables from his throat. "Okay, I'll let you go." Emily was terrified when she heard something happened to me at the hospital and wanted to fly back to China to find me. When she arrived at the airport, she found me sitting there, lost in thought. She rushed over, checked me from head to toe, then hugged me and cried, "They didn't do anything to you, did they?" I stroked her head. "Don't worry, they didn't." She cried and said, "I thought those two maniacs wouldn't let you go unless they peeled your skin off. They just let you go like that." Yeah, I thought for a moment. Maybe they wanted to accumulate some good karma. After that, I didn't encounter the Huo brothers again. I lived with Emily, laughing and joking every day, oblivious to the world. Occasionally, news came from China after Ashley's family went bankrupt. She tried to find the rich young men who used to like her to help her regain her luxurious life, but her past deeds were exposed. All the trophies from her pranks were made public. Someone also doxed her, and the mother of the high school girl who jumped from the building found her. Without saying a word, she threw acid in her face. The Huo family hasn't been peaceful these past few years either. The two brothers are constantly engaged in internal power struggles, and the company is a mess. I heard Robert hasn't given up looking for me. But I heard someone tampered with Robert's car. Robert got into a car accident and was paralyzed from the waist down. Bullet comments were also in disbelief. How did this rom-com wish fulfillment story go off track like this? What did I get into? Is this even China anymore? What happened to the strong female lead? This is completely different from the dramatic strong female lead I imagined actually. I've thought this for a while. This strong female lead really has no morals or bottom line. Playing pranks with other people's lives. This ending is what she deserves. Don't you think the female antagonist is quite cute too? She didn't use the child to gain status, cut ties decisively, and left without hesitation. 3 more years passed. I met David again. At the time, I was taking my daughter, who had just turned 3, for a walk. He saw the little girl in a dress beside me, and his eyes lit up. Sarah, is she? I knew what he wanted to ask. I interrupted him. She's not yours. I'm married. He was silent for a long time. Finally, he squeezed out a few embarrassed words. Right, that's good. He left awkwardly. I breathed a sigh of relief. Actually, I hadn't remarried that day, standing with Emily at the abortion clinic, after much back and forth. I couldn't bring myself to do it. A few more years passed, and my daughter grew more and more beautiful, and more like David. David wasn't stupid. Of course, he also saw that the child was his. These years, he had been anonymously transferring money to my card, but he didn't dare to come find me. At 7 in the morning, I curled up in bed, yawning. My daughter, with her backpack on, patted me. Mommy, I'm going to school. I kissed her too. Baby, remember to bring mommy to corn dogs with extra mustard and relish after school. My daughter smiled. Got it. Greedy mommy. Epilogue. David always wanted to say something the day he let Sarah go. At first, he was indeed following Ashley's instructions and aiming to prank her. But Sarah was too well behaved. When she cried, she was silent like a cat. It was only Robert, the heir to the Huo Group fortune, who was not interested in women and wouldn't touch her. Unconsciously, he began to develop feelings for her. At first, it was sweet, but slowly, he started to fear Sarah knowing the truth. He immersed himself in the lie he had woven, desperately treating her well. He wanted to have a good life with Sarah, but he didn't know whether Sarah liked Robert or himself. He even thought about getting Sarah pregnant with his child to use the child to gain status. It was his only chance of winning. On the wedding day, he wanted her to know the truth. Yet he was afraid of her knowing the truth. He had thought about it. When revealing the truth, he would be gentle, tell everyone that he loved her very much. The day he caught Sarah getting an abortion, Robert went crazy, grabbing his neck. Who gave you permission to touch her? He had never been so insane, David thought. Robert must have loved her too. They both really deserved what they got. He wanted to tell Sarah that he had told many lies, but the only truth was that he loved her. But the words were stuck in his throat and couldn't come out. He thought, forget it. This love that couldn't see the light of day. It was better not to tell her. Don't discuss her anymore. Her future life should be on the main road, in a place with light. He shouldn't be on that road.